Hey, what's up? Ian here, and today I'm going to talk about this Dunu Kima 2. It is a single dynamic driver IEM. Retail price is 120 US dollars and it's available on Hi-Fi Go's website. So if you want to find out more, do check out the unaffiliated link in the description below. And as you can see, I've taken it out, I've listened to it, I've measured it, and I've compared it, and I'm here to share with you guys my thoughts and opinions about this Kima 2 so that you guys can make an informed decision. Alright, so let's begin first with the accessories, and this is the retail box of the Kima 2. Very nice thick box. Okay, and some specs at the back. Let me just read that out to you. The frequency range is 5 to 40,000 hertz. Impedance is 20 ohms, and the sensitivity is 108. Okay, now inside the box you'll get obviously the user guide and all the paperwork, and you'll also get for those Weep fans, standee, right? So this standee, this acrylic standee, you can put it together and then display it on your desktop, and you can look at her, you know, every day. And yeah, if you miss her, you can look at her every day. Okay, and then you get a pouch for your IEM. Individual pouches, so that you know they don't knock onto each other and scratch each other. Okay, with a drawstring, and then you get a cleaning brush, this cable clip, okay, and of course a carrying case. All right, so this carrying case is a hard shell case, and you can put your IEM and accessories in it, and a whole bunch of ear tips. So I'm just going to go through the different types of ear tips. I'm sure most of you know what these ear tips are. So this one is the SNS ear tips, okay, which is the most expensive ear tips. And then you have the candy ear tips. Please don't be mistaken, these are not spin fits, they are candy ear tips from Dunu. And then you have the stock ear tips, which is one is the narrow bore, which is this one right here, and the other is the wider bore. So the wider bore is more for bass, and the narrower bore is more for treble. So it depends on your listening preference. Now let's talk about the cable. Okay, cable is very nice. I like this cable. This is a 4-core cable, but it's a fabric braided cable, and it comes with interchangeable headphone jacks. So you can either choose 3.5 or 4.4, and it's very easy to interchange. All you need to do is just unscrew this, right? And once it's loose, you just unplug it, and then you can put in the 4.4. So for those of you who have DABs, which can plug in the 4.4, this is a very good option for you. For the rest of us, basically it's just 3.5. Okay, and then the cable splits out. It comes with a plastic chin slider. Okay, and when it splits out, you go into individual 2-core cable, and it's a little bit rubbery on the split here. Okay, and ear hooks is actually very soft. Ear hooks are very soft, so I like this cable. It feels premium. It's not too bulky as well. It's very light, and the silver color, you know, matches with more of an elegant feel and more discreet as well. Okay, so very nice cable. Now let's talk about the IEM. IEM is actually a very familiar design, and this is actually exactly the same design as the original Kima, which I have right here. So if you look at the design of both of them, they're actually very similar. Okay, so I'm not going to talk much about the design for this Kima 2. It's very nice design, very high-end, looks high-end with all the nice cut, or the CNC cuts, and the build of it is also very good. It's made of aluminum, so same as the original. Okay, now let's talk about the drivability for this. These are very easy to drive. I plug this with my DAB and my phone and also my MacBook. They are very easy to drive. I don't need to, on my DAB, I don't need to pump up the volume. Very low volume, I can get very loud sound from this. I don't even need to pump up the gain as well. In terms of gear matching, I would say this is actually quite suitable for neutral to warm sounding DABs, all right, and also DACs. Okay, so if you have those, this is actually produced matching for that. Now, in terms of the overall technical performance, this is actually very good. So inside here is the next generation DLC composite dome dynamic driver, which is similar to the Dunu Falcon Pro. Okay, so that is a very nice driver, and that IEM is very expensive. This one is only $120, and it's the driver is the same, right? And also the tuning here is actually the Vernus IEM tuning, which is the original, the limited edition one. And that tuning, not everybody gets to listen to, and this tuning right here is the same as the limited edition of the Vernus IEM tuning. Okay, so very nice in terms of the overall technical performance. The resolution is nice, crystal clear, especially coming from a single dynamic driver. The soundstage though, soundstage is a little bit intimate, right? It's wide to the side, but not much to the height, and not much of a depth as well. So the layers are, the layers are separated, but it's not a very deep separation. And also there's not much height to the soundstage, but in terms of the width, it's actually very wide. Okay, so usually, okay, the placement and the imaging of the overall like percussions and vocals, they are in a very natural position. Percussions and vocals are in the middle, and then you get your instruments on the left and the right. So in terms of placement, imaging is actually pretty alright. Right, so that's for soundstage. Now let's talk about the overall details that this pickup, I would say, is all right. I mean, it's a pretty good forward mids, but at the same time, it's a single dynamic driver. So I'm not getting the sound separation most of the time, most of my tracks. So in terms of details, I can pick up nuances, but not those micro nuances and micro sounds that I can pick up from other IEMs, especially multi-driver ones. Okay, so in terms of detail retrieval, is actually according to its price point, is pretty good. All right. Right, so now let's talk about the tone and timbre for this. The tone and timbre for this is, I would say, neutral to warm type of tone and timbre. The bass is actually a very lean type of bass, so the note weight on this is pretty alright. It's quite substantial, but it's not a very lean and light type of tone and timbre. So I wouldn't consider this a neutral tuning, but I would say it's more of a balanced tuning with neutral bass. Okay, now in terms of sound signature, I'm going to move one side here, and I'm going to post the graph somewhere up here. So if you look at the graph, the sub bass is actually pretty linear, but extended. So in terms of note weight, it's actually pretty heavy, got good texture, but it's pretty recessed, and good extension. The rumble is, I would say, present but not intrusive, and this is just nice for me in terms of the overall sub bass presence. Yeah, it's just nice for me. And the mid bass is actually pretty forward. Yeah, it's quite punchy and present, and the impact is quite noticeable. So I would say it's still quite warmish, and it's quite a heavy punch if you ask me. So it does impede into the mids. Okay, now in terms of the mids, the lower mids is actually quite forward. So instruments with the lower frequencies like pianos, the bass, cellos and all that, they sound really great and very textured on this IEM. But for violins, flutes and all that, they sound a little bit laid back. Yeah, a little bit laid back. Now in terms of vocals, male vocals, they sound great on this. Very nice presence as well. Very the texture is there in his presence. But for female vocals, again, they will sound a little bit laid back also, and not as bright as I would want for female vocals. Okay, so that's for the mids. Now the peanut gain is actually pretty good. All right, pretty good. It's not intense, it's not hot, it's not spicy. So very, I would say, tolerable type of peanut gain and transition to the treble. Now in terms of treble, as I mentioned, it's a little bit dark. and overall a laid back kind of treble. Good and bad for me. It lacks that sparkle, but for some it's tolerable and smooth. So depends on what your preference is. If you're on that side whereby you're sensitive to treble, then this is a very good tuning for treble. But for me, I would want a little bit more sparkle to the treble. And the treble does trail off a little bit short, but it's pretty okay. It's not a very obvious trail off, but pretty close to natural, I would say. Okay, so that's the sound signature of the Kima 2, and for $120, I would say in terms of the overall package and the overall price to performance ratio, this is very good. It sounds really good, actually. It's just that the treble may not be what I want, but the bass is what I want. The bass is the kind of a neutral, lean kind of bass, which is to my preference. Okay, at the same time, it's well built. It comes with a whole bunch of accessories, and the sound quality is there. So $120 is a steal, if you ask me. Now, it's suitable for mostly mainstream music, not so much on techno or trance or EDMs or electronic music. Well, not really electronic musics, but trance, techno, those that need the bass to get your head bobbing. So bass heads may not like this, but for me, I listen to most of the pop songs, like trance is once in a while. So yeah, this is actually very suitable for me. Classical as well, if I listen to my classical and if I'm in the mood for classical, this is also pretty good. For jazz as well, solos or quartets, these are actually very, very good for those. Not the best, but very good for those. Okay, so yeah, for $120, this is a very good IM if you want to consider looking at about $100 to $200 price point. Now let's compare it with the original. So again, I'm going to go move one side here. So if you look at the graph, right, they changed the sub bass and the treble. Okay, so in terms of first the technical performance, I would say the Kima 2 sounds cleaner. It's got a more resolute sound, and overall a more superior sound overall as compared to the original Kima. In terms of tone and timbre, I would say both are almost the same. The Kima 2 sounds a little bit more lean and light as compared to the original Kima. Now, in terms of sound signature, there's definitely a more lean and neutral bass on the Kima 2, which I like. So I prefer the bass on the Kima 2 as compared to the original. The mids are actually a little bit different. The mids actually sound more forward. To me, I perceive it as more forward as compared to the original, and it sounds cleaner as well. So overall, I like the mids better on the Kima 2. And for treble, I would prefer the treble on the Kima, the original Kima. The Kima 2 sounds a little bit too laid back, a little bit too smooth for my liking. Okay, so overall, I would say the Kima 2 is an improvement to the original Kima. All right, so that's my comparison with the original Kima, and also that concludes my overall thoughts and opinions about this Dunu Kima 2. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys have a great day ahead, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.